Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive deep into the world of employee training and development. We're going to break down the entire process, really, from a new hire's very first day all the way to shaping them into a future leader. So let's jump right in. I mean, come on, we've all been there, right? You're stuck in a room for a day, clicking through some online course, and you walk out thinking, well, that was a day of my life I'm not getting back. Nothing really felt like it landed. And that feeling, that's exactly why it's so critical to understand how to get training right. Okay, first things first, let's clear up something that gets mixed up all the time. Training and development, they are not the same thing, not at all. Training is about the here and now. It's about getting you the skills you need to crush your current job. Development, though, that's the long game. That's about prepping you for what's next, for the roles you haven't even thought of yet. So, to really get a grip on how great training programs are actually built, you need a roadmap. And lucky for us, there is one. In the world of training, it's called the 4-step training cycle. This is going to be our guide for today. Just think about it logically. You can't solve a problem if you don't even know what it is, right? So step 1 is need analysis, figuring out what's broken. Once you know the what, you can move on to the how, designing the fix. Then comes step 3, delivery, actually doing it. And finally, and this part is crucial, you have to ask, did it actually work? So keeping that cycle in mind, let's zero in on this starting line. When you think about it, what is the single most important, can't skip it first step to make sure a training program is actually effective? And the answer is right there in step 1. It is all about the need analysis. Before you make a single PowerPoint slide, before you book a single room, you have to figure out the specific skill gaps. This is the foundation of everything because it makes sure you're solving a real problem and not just, well, training for the sake of training. All right, so you figured out what needs to be taught. The next big question is how. So let's open up the trainer's toolkit and check out some of the different methods they have at their disposal.
Let's start with a really common one. You've probably heard of induction training or maybe onboarding. Who is this specifically for? Is it for A, senior managers, B, new recruits, or C, retired employees? And yep, you got it. It's for B, new recruits. Induction training is that super important welcome to the team phase. It's all about getting new folks up to speed on the company culture, the official policies, and, of course, what's actually expected of them in their shiny new role. Now, training methods usually fall into 2 big buckets. You've got on-the-job training, which happens right there in the flow of your work, like a manager coaching you or getting to rotate through different departments. And then you have off-the-job training, which pulls you away from your desk for things like special workshops or lectures. And here's a really cool and specific type of off-the-job training. It's called vestibule training. Imagine you're learning to fly a plane. You don't just hop into a real 747 on day 1, right? You use a flight simulator. That's the basic idea here. You learn on the exact same equipment, but in a safe, simulated area where you can't slow down the real work. And of course, the toolkit is huge. I mean, beyond these, trainers have everything from old school lectures and modern e-learning courses to really interactive stuff like role-playing, which is just fantastic for building people skills. So let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about skills for right now, but let's get back to that long-term view, development. And this brings us to 2 words that get thrown around and mixed up all the time: coaching and mentoring. So let's just ask it straight up. What's the deal here? Is there a real difference between a coach and a mentor, or are we just talking about the same thing with 2 different labels? Oh, there is a massive difference. Coaching is very structured. It's task-oriented. It's about improving your performance to hit a very specific goal. A mentor, on the other hand, that's a much more informal, long-term relationship. It's about getting that big-picture career guidance. Think of it this way. A coach helps you win the next game. A mentor helps you plan your entire career. And this brings us right back around to the final and honestly, maybe the most overlooked step in our 4-step cycle, evaluation. After all that work, how in the world do we know if any of it actually made a difference? Now, you can measure a lot of things. You could count how many people showed up. You could hand out surveys to see if everyone liked the trainer. But what's the one metric, the single best way to tell you if that training was a success or just a total waste of money? See, things like how many people came or how popular the trainer was, they feel important, but they have really low effectiveness. These are what you call vanity metrics. They look nice, but they don't mean much. The only metric with high effectiveness, the one that truly matters, is post-training performance.
So here's the bottom line. It all comes down to one question. Did people's behavior and their productivity actually improve when they got back to their desks? Did things change for the better? That is the real return on investment. Everything else is just noise.
And, this whole idea of identifying needs and measuring real impact, it doesn't just apply to a single company. Let's zoom way, way out for a second. These same principles are absolutely vital on a huge national scale.
Just look at a massive government program like the Skill India mission. It's the exact same four-step cycle, just on an epic scale. They do a huge need analysis on what the country's industries require. Then they design and deliver training to millions of people to boost the whole economy. It's the same logic.
And that brings it all the way back around to you. We've talked about companies, we've talked about countries, but at the end of the day, development is deeply personal. So the final question I want to leave you with is this. Looking at your own career path, where you want to go, what's the one skill that you need to start developing for your future?